maybe a few words about working with organizations.
Yeah, okay, that would be great, yes.
Again, I work pretty much the same way, although when you say working with an organization, you're really working with the people within an organization, because an organization is people. There's really no such thing as an organization. You can't touch an organization. You can only touch people. But I always want to pay attention to who invited me, who wanted to engage me to work within the organization, and what they want. I also want to talk with them in terms of, are there other people that it would be important to include in this conversation? And if so, if in our next conversation we were to begin to include some of these other people, who would that be? So let's say it's a director who has a particular idea about his company, meaning the owner of the company. And I might say, okay, so if we're going to be working together and I'm going to consult with you and help you with this, are there other people in the company that you might like to invite or that you think would be important in the conversation? And he might say, well, perhaps at some point I can invite my middle managers to come in, or my team leaders. So it's a question like, who should be talking with whom, when, where, and about what, and who answers those questions. So whether it's working with a director or a team leader in an organization, or the teacher of a classroom, or a therapist with a client, it's the person we're working with should participate with us in answering those questions and making those kinds of decisions. Again, insider decisions rather than those brought from me from the outside, that this is the way that it should be done. I also do some leadership training and coaching from a collaborative perspective, and as well as mentoring.
Wonderful, wonderful. There's, I mean, you often talk about, you do the same thing. You use the similar concept to work with different disciplines. But I think for beginners, they probably, it's going to take time.
It takes, yes.
To be,
and thank you for highlighting that, and I'm sorry I'm interrupting you. Thank you for highlighting that, because I don't want people to think that I'm just duplicating and that I have this recipe that I carry from context to context or culture to culture, because I don't. But it's the same orienting assumptions are there that we talked about in one of the first segments. The same action guiding sensitivities are there that inform the philosophical stance, that inform the way I am, the way I relate with, the way I talk with, the way I respond with, the way I think with, the way I act with the person or persons I'm working with. And that in all of those context and agendas and activities, that I am walking alongside the other person. So the process, if you watch it across these different contexts and agendas, there you can find some similarities in the process, but certainly there will be differences.
Yes, yes.
Of course.
Yes. I mean, each conversation is unique.
Is unique. Yeah. And I'm different in each relationship, in each conversation, each context. Yeah, it brings forth, each one brings forth particular aspects of me.
And also I think that like the philosophical stance and the orienting assumptions and carrying that, having those ideas, but what I have been experiencing your work in different contexts, you are co-creating with people who come to you. So there's no one way of working with different people, but maybe the background assumption and the stance are similar, but when it comes to different group, different people, each scenario is very different.
It's very different, very unique, and it requires you to be unique within that setting, of course.
Yes. So, Anything else you'd like to talk about for application?
Not about the applications, but I'm remembering another question that you had is there a future? What is the future of collaborative practices? Or maybe you can pose it the way you posed it earlier.
Yeah, okay. I think that before we talk about the future,
Okay.
I want to do a little bit summary of the
Sure.
application in Chinese,
Sure,
and then we
absolutely.
shift to this future.
Sounds good.
That's okay. Okay.
Absolutely.
在我们往下走，另外一个主题就是合作实践的未来。因为我们走向21世纪啊，那合作取向的未来会在哪里啊？然后我想在移向那个主题之前，我想要先再做一个总结啊，就是合作取向的运用邀请哈令老师讲这个主题，是因为我觉得它可以运用的范围非常的广。它不只是可以放在咨询，放在家族治疗，它可以放在教学、教育，我们如何学习，然后它可以放在组织的工作、跟领导工作，还有教练，还有怎么样子去引领人们，给人们做示范。其实还有很多比如说社工合作取向如何用在社工，然后合作取向如何运用在医疗的系统然后合作取向可能比如说像我有一些学员，合作取向如何用在小学、幼儿园然后就各式各样的运用，可能还可以有更多的东西。我有在台湾有人去理解了合作，把合作放在设计师的工作因为做设计需要跟很多人合作，然后所以可能有些人会觉得很奇怪。为什么希娟老师明明就在讲叙事，为什么对于合作还会想要来投入，然后要跟哈令老师在一块去讲这个那讲到运用的时候，我想你们就理解了，因为你们看到合作它特别重视不一样的对话，在关系里跟人们共同学习，共同往前走。那么我们其实生活里对话是无所不在的，律师也要用合作的对话各式各样的人。那我觉得这个东西特别特别的有意义、有价值。所以虽然我也很喜欢叙事，但是我也非常喜欢合作然后就希望大家看了这个录像有一些理解，也就是我就是非常愿意邀请大家，如果喜欢叙事，也来试试合作它特别的深刻，而且可以运用的东西特别的广。所以为什么要讲这个部分？当然我们今天就是讲了一些然后像研究也是很重要。那我想大家就再多想一想，再多看看，然后也可以阅读，然后以后有机会我们再看怎么样在各方面多讲一点。I said that why I like to sort of work with you about the application, and I said people might be kind of surprised, like a teacher who has been doing a lot of narrative training,
Right, yes.
and why am I like doing this? I mean, talking about this, and I said because collaborative practice can be applied to lots and lots of practice. I mean, example you talk about, I also talk about like school setting, I mean education, and then even kindergarten. I was using some example, and then also designer. We have designer who love practice, collaborative practice. They find it could be used in how they collaborate with people when they design something together. So there are all kinds of areas that people can use. So I said, because collaborative practice is so wide open and can be helpful for so many areas, and that's one of the reasons I like to be able to work on collaborative practice and working with you and working with people about introducing or talking to people about the concept, and also thinking about how the concept can be immersed in our day-to-day practice.
Yeah, and I'm glad you pointed out the diversity of disciplines and professional areas that people come from in our training, because we have, I think currently in the various trainings that you and I are doing, we have attorneys, we have accountants, we have business people, we have business people who are entrepreneurs, we have coaches, we have nurses, we have physicians, so we have a variety of professionals in our training.
Yes, everybody needs collaborative practice. That's my bias.
That's your bias, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that. I think it has a lot that can be useful.
Yes. Okay, so maybe we can move to the future.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. It's been a privilege to be able to know you and know your work, and it's been just wonderful. And as we are recording this recording, and then I started thinking, like, oh, I need to find out from Harleen what Harleen has been thinking. Harleen has been developing and thinking and practicing collaborative practice, and where Harleen sees collaborative practice might be moving forward in 21st century. What are the promises and what might be the challenges? So if you could take us to look at the future.
Well, that's a question that people ask. They say, what is the future? Or sometimes they say, what's next? Because people are used to a particular theory or way of thinking about therapy or counseling has been developed, and then you practice that for a while and then you move on to something else. So, but I think if you think in terms of postmodern philosophy and the related assumptions that I draw from, that there's still so much there to be explored. It's just still a new territory. And then I also am very occupied by what people are doing with these ideas, and how many people that I know of or hear about are involved in them. So, for example, two things that I've done that you know about. One is created the International Certificate Program in Collaborative Practices, where we have 17 programs in different countries around the world, and then the International Journal of Collaborative Practices that's bilingual. It's in English and Spanish. We have one article so far that's been translated, thanks to you, into Chinese, so we need some volunteers, Chinese translators, so that we can have the journal in Chinese and offer some of these ideas to more of the Chinese reader. What I've noticed in traveling around and working with people who are practicing collaboratively is how creative they are and how they are able to adjust and adapt their practices to their local cultures, to their local context, and to the particular challenges. So, for example, in 2 or 3 countries in South America, as well as one that I know of in Africa, we have people working with former child soldiers and street children from a collaborative perspective, doing some incredible work. Yeah. People doing work all in several countries with organizations from a collaborative perspective. So they're just so what I see is that it's again, it's something that's not being duplicated, because that's not what we're about, and and basically I think it's impossible the way that we work to duplicate it, but that people are continuing to grow and develop it and add their own unique flavor to it, like what you're doing in your certificate program in Taipei and what you're doing in your teaching here in China, that you're Sichuan, you're not Harleen, and you're working within particular cultures in terms of national cultures as well as particular local cultures, whether that's the culture of a university or the culture of an agency, and how you together with them adapt the ideas to fit and create and begin to do things that I would probably never even think about doing.
I think that when you talk about future, you talk about creativity. And that's kind of what I experience. Like, we don't know what's going to happen, but the philosophy, the assumptions, all the ideas somehow invite people to be creative. So it's going to be very exciting to continue seeing how people might be moving forward.
And that hopefully that in some small ways there can be influence on some of the tragedies and atrocities that are happening around the world, and that there can be some very, very small contribution to world peace.
I think it will. It is now, yeah. And I think that since that you talk about the certificate in Taiwan, I want to speak in Chinese a little bit, and also make announcement as well.
Tell people about the certificate program in Taiwan and the one that's going to start here in China.
Yeah, okay. 因为感觉到哈令老师的合作取向特别的好，特别的深刻，对于我的实务工作、教学、研究，或是我怎么样子去陪伴大家学习。因此我在2年前在台湾引进了合作取向的认证啊，然后就是由哈令老师主导，是哈令老师创立的休斯顿盖瓦斯特的这个中心，还有陶斯中心就是社会建构的中心，跟台北的这个英特森创意对话中心共同合办，然后台湾的人学得特别特别的开心，他们觉得好深刻啊，然后觉得对他们的工作跟生活都有很多影响。刚刚哈令老师说，希望这样子的思维对这个世界可以有一些的改变。我说现在就在改变了，而且未来会持续改变啊。那另外一个是也想跟大家说台湾的这个合作取向认证在今年11月底即将告一个段落，我们进行了2年半，然后我们计划在明年的秋天要开始第2期的合作取向认证在台湾，然后我们也计划同步在大陆也同步来办合作取向认证，目前可能计划会在上海来作为这个核心点来办合作取向认证的课程，然后当然欢迎来自各地的大家如果有兴趣都可以参与，所以这会是我们在大陆第一次有这个课，台湾的学员都觉得可以这样子学2年半，好深刻，是一辈子的东西。那到时候我们会在广播告诉大家，然后大家有兴趣可以参与这样子。Okay.
And that also, I'm remembering the Chinese National Academy of Science and the annual program that the psychology group there has called Postmodern Psychology and Traditional Chinese Philosophy. And the next one will be this November.
Oh, yes, yes.
And perhaps you know where it is?
I don't know the location yet.
Okay, but we can get information for them, or they could email either one of us and we could provide that.
Yes, yes.
So I was thinking about that.
Yes.
And then there's also a university, is it Nanjing University?
Nanjing Normal University.
Nanjing Normal University, that there's some psychologists there who are planning a conference next year. in social construction theory and its application. So there are a lot of things going on in China regarding these ideas already. I think it's just how can we help people know about it.
Yes, yeah.
I'm also thinking in terms of the Tao's Institute, which we mentioned, I think, on the first segment, that we have over 500 associates around the world, and we probably have 50 associates in China now, and you are one of them. Yeah.
Good, good. Maybe I speak Chinese, so people.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. 就是中科院心理所也有一个后现代的中心，然后他们对于哈令老师的东西合作也特别喜欢，然后在11月的时候会有哈令老师的课，我跟哈令老师上课合作取向，然后也会就是后现代跟传统文化的关系的那个年会，今年会是第3次。然后南京师范大学也有老师，就是在杨丽萍老师还有张新平老师，他们在做社会建构的一些研究啊，然后他们也会组织在明年组织社会建构的会议，也特别好。那陶斯也有很多陶斯的成员现在全世界有500名。那现在华人可能就大概有 ，You say 50 or 15?
I think probably it's getting close to 50. I think.
OK， 现在可能有50个人，那我也是其中之一。OK，So OK.
So I would like to say, Shishuan, in concluding, it has been an absolute pleasure to work with you doing these video recordings. And I would also, I know you would like to join me in thanking our camera crew here and lighting crew who've been very generous in accommodating us. Amanda and Yaya.
Would you both like to?
And Zaza. So thank you very much for everything that you have done and for the opportunity to work with you. It's been a pleasure.
Welcome, and we're lucky.
Same here. It's been wonderful because we have been thinking about this project for a couple of years, and finally that we are able to do this with you. And this is like Center for Postmodern Dialogues project in collaboration with Siyuan organization, and we are working together. So we are very honored that finally we could work with you to document your gift, your knowledge, your practice, and this would be just wonderful. And I'm really looking forward to many more people will be able to review this. Maybe they don't get a chance to see you in person, but at least they get to see you in the recording, and they can learn about that. They can think about that. They see you, and they see us. And then, so hopefully this will be beneficial for their future learning about collaborative practice. So I thank you very, very much. This is a gift for us to be with you. Thank you.
I'm grateful as well. And let's say hello and goodbye to the viewers out there. And we each hope that we have the opportunity to meet those of you that we haven't met before sometime soon.
Yes. 谢谢大家，我们录影的团队希望大家在看这个录像的时候，就好好的、慢慢的去体会这些东西，都是对现代人生活有很深刻的帮助，不管是家庭、婚姻、亲子、组织、教学、医疗、健康然后刚刚老师说律师、会计师各式各样的都在世界各地在上这些课，所以这个是世界的宝藏所以我们好好的，就是大家好好的来体会这里面各中的滋味。谢谢大家。